everybody, I'm Bill Sanders, and this is Moser Cie, the art and science of watch collection. Today, I want to introduce three watches, or three watch companies that I think beginners ought to know about. When I began watch collection, I knew certain brands, like I heard of Rolex, and I'd heard of Patek Philippe, and I'd heard of Tag Heuer and Breitling and Zenith and a few others like that. But since I become a watch collector, really got into it, I found some other ones that I think would be a benefit to know about. And the three I'm talking about is sort of like, one is, we'll call very affordable. The second is sort of a middle rung, and the third is the higher one. Price-wise, they go from affordable to moderate to fairly pricey, but still, in the context of watches, there's sort of a whole other economy. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is Christopher Ward. This is an English company. And one of the things that's important about their watches, and a lot of watch companies, believe me, are not this way, is they tell you exactly what you're getting in terms of a movement. For example, the first one over here on the far left, the Elite 1000, the C60, is chronometer. Chronometer means they've been certified as having met certain standards, probably the best way to put it, certain tolerances that they've met. It's good to see that if you're looking for a watch and it says chronometer, that's a good thing. This one has a Sellita SW220. Now a Sellita SW, the whole line of them are, they're inexpensive movements, relatively speaking. They have different grades, and the chronometer grade is the highest one, so this probably has the highest grade. $13,010 for that one. They have a lot of other ones too. Over on the far right is the C65 Dune GMT. GMT stands for Greenwich Mean Time. What it really is a dual time zone. So if you travel and you want to find out the time where you are and the time at home, a watch, a GMT or a DTZ, or just a dual time watch, it will suffice for you. This has one. Now, one that became very, very popular is called the Bel Canto, the C1 Bel Canto. This particular one there is the red one. That one is pretty new. Now, the price on this, the price is up a little, it's $4,210. Now, at the base, they have a Sellita movement, but on top of that, they put in a little chime, and so that in and of itself is sort of a neat thing. Now, there's a little symbol there that says GPHG. That stands for the Grand Prix Horlogerie de Genève, which is the Grand Prix of watchmaking in Geneva. It won one of those, and that's a big thing. Now, especially if you're a beginner and you don't know, oh, this one ain't good or this one ain't good. If it's won some kind of GPHG award, probably pretty good, because those are not easy to come by. There are different levels that they have. This one was in a category called Petite Aiguille, which just means a little hand, and is for watches under, I think, between 3,500 and 10,000, something like that. But anyway, it won. There's a lot of watches in that. At the bottom, there's one called the 12X TI. I think TI is for titanium. Caliber SH21. Now, Caliber SH21 and Christopher Ward, that's an in-house movement that they have. So that's one that they used to have more watches with the SH21, but now they're down, I think, only to just a few that they have. So that means that instead of using a Solita or some similar movement, this is one they make themselves, and that's why it's more expensive. Okay, this next brand is for a middle range. It's Harbring 2. And the watchmaker here is Richard Harbring. He and his wife, Marie Harbring, make these watches, and they're basically handmade. They don't make a whole lot of them. And this little company, they're in Austria. There's this little company in Austria, and they've won 4 Grand Prix awards, which is fairly impressive. The first one, the Felix, was the first one, I think, well, one of the first ones where they won a Grand Prix award for. I know that they did get it for that, and they got it for some of the other ones too. Now, the thing about the Felix, all of the movements in Harbring 2 are made by the watchmaker, and so Richard Harbring developed one he called the A11, A for Austria, 11 for 2011, and he has different versions of that in these different watches. The Doppler 38 Lumi is another one. Then the Globetrotter is the GMT. That's for dual time zone. Now the prices are getting up there pretty quickly. The Felix, in fact, all of them are more expensive than the base numbers that you find at Christopher Ward, but they're just of a different sort. Now, again, here you have one of the things that'll tell you that they're pretty good watches is the Grand Prix Award. Now, the final one I want to talk about, when I talk about the higher level, there's something that they refer to as high horology. Well, I think some of the high horology is more marketing horology than it is anything else. But the exceptional horology is a term I use, and H. Moser is one of those companies that has exceptional horology. I think one of the reasons I don't like to refer to it as high horology, when they first started using that term, the price of gold was much less, and so they were saying, well, you can, if it has gold in it, that's part of being part of it. Some of these do, but the ones here don't, and yet they're extremely expensive watches. The two at the top, the Pioneer cylindrical tourbillon and the Streamliner flyback chronograph, are 2 watches, both of which won a Grand Prix award. The tourbillon is 79,000 CHF. Now that's something else that you're going to see. CHF stands for Swiss francs. And so you have to translate that into dollars or euros or pounds, whatever other monetary unit, yen or yuan, I think is in. And then but you'll see that a lot, and so you might as well you can find a lot of online conversion programs for that. But these watches are fantastic. I have 2 of them. I have a couple of the earlier ones, and these are the Pioneer. It's sort of funny. The Pioneer models tend to be the entry level, and this newer one is called the Pioneer Center Second Concept Citrus Green, up in the lower left-hand corner, and that one's 14,500. So when I say entry level, that's pretty hefty. Now, the dual time watch in the middle, the Heritage, they have different styles. The streamlined style is on the 2 on the far right over there, are both have the streamlined style, and so that's sort of this I guess you'd call it streamlined, but so you have variety there, and you may not have ever heard of any 3 of these, but if you're into watch collection, these three, depending on what you wanna find, if as far as cost is concerned, I think these three are a good place to start looking around and considering it. Anyway, I'd like to hear what you think. If you're more than a beginner, you might have to say, wait a minute, how come you didn't include this one? Let me know, okay? And this is an opportunity to subscribe if you like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side of the Art and Science of Watch Collection.